Toni Anderson had just gotten off of her shift from work when she was going to meet up with a bunch of friends at a bar across town. She lets them all know she's rushing to get gas because, like many times before, her tank is on E and she's pushing it to the limit. The last text received from Toni is to a friend saying that she's getting pulled over. Toni never shows up at the bar. In fact, Toni is never seen again. After friends and family ask the police about Toni, they state that they have no record of Toni ever being pulled over the night before. Go ahead and grab your cup of coffee and settle in for this eyebrow-raising story. It's time for your true crime coffee break here at Crime Cafe with Krysten and Quinn. Toni Anderson was a beautiful, independent, loving, and really hardworking 20-year-old from Kansas. She lived with her boyfriend and she worked at a gentleman's club and was a music blogger. Toni and her boyfriend had just moved closer to an area in Kansas City that was more involved in the music scene, closer to all the music festivals that Toni liked to blog about. She was also scheduled to start classes at the University of Kansas City. Toni was working her normal shift at a club called Chrome, and she made plans with some of her friends to meet up at a different bar across town called the Shady Lady after her shift ended. It was around 4 a.m. when her shift ended, and she had a security guard walk her out to her vehicle. Now, this wasn't a rare occurrence. They did this for all of the entertainers so they could make sure that they got to their cars safely. So she made it to her car safe, and she needed to make it to the nearest gas station because she was literally almost out of gas. And then she was going to make her way over to the Shady Lady. Now, we know this because she talked during her shift to her coworkers about her plans for the night. She was saying how she really needed to make it to the closest gas station and that she was going to make her way to the Shady Lady for a little while and then head back home to her boyfriend. Around 4:42 a.m., one of Toni's friends, who was already at the Shady Lady, received a text message from Toni saying, quote, "Oh my gosh, I just got pulled over again." That was the last text anyone received from Toni. She never made it to the Shady Lady, and she never made it back home. When she didn't make it to the club, nor to her house, of course, her boyfriend, friends, and family got extremely concerned about her. Toni wasn't the type to do this. She wasn't the type of person to not respond. She wasn't the type of person to go a long time without messaging her boyfriend or her friends and not show up at a place that she said she was going to. So they knew something had to happen. So, of course, they went to the police station because the last thing that they knew was that she was being pulled over. So they went to the police station and questioned them about Toni's incident. And once they got there, the police checked their records and they let everybody know that they had no records of pulling Toni over the night before. Now, this alarmed everyone, including the police officers, because around this time in that area, there were people that were impersonating police officers. They were driving around in cars with their sirens and lights and doing things like that. So it was alarming. There were no incidences where anyone was hurt or any harm was being done to anyone. So they weren't sure if these were pranks or if this was something serious until this moment, because as it looks like someone impersonated a police officer and pulled her over. So after a few agonizing days of not knowing what was happening or where she was or who pulled her over, a police officer came forward and stated that he actually did pull her over. He stated that he had pulled Toni over for speeding a little bit, and when he was talking to her, she was letting him know that she really needed to get to a gas station. She was really going to run out of gas, and he just pointed her in the direction of the nearest gas station and said that he got back in his car and watched her pull into the gas station, and he proceeded to leave. Now, of course, Toni's family had a lot of questions about this. They had a lot of concerns about why it wasn't reported, why all of a sudden now a police officer is coming forward and saying that he did pull her over when obviously he didn't state that to begin with. Why now there is actual paperwork done about that pullover when there wasn't when they questioned the police the day that she went missing. Of course, the family's next mission was to get that dash cam footage, and they had petitions going. They actually got to over 2,000 signatures for the police to release the dash cam footage, but the police stated that that wasn't going to happen because it was an open investigation. They were not going to release any video footage of anything to the public anytime soon. So the family, her friends, and her boyfriend were left not knowing anything. The never-ending questions of why the officer would lie like that. This made them extremely uneasy and very skeptical of the entire police force and how much they were actually going to help with this investigation. So of course, this information spread all over town and had people throwing all different kinds of theories out there. Of course, one of the theories was that it was the police officer that pulled her over and that there is a cover-up going on. That was the biggest theory that was out there. Toni's friends and family did absolutely everything that they could to help. They made tons of flyers and hung them all over town. They created a Facebook page completely dedicated to finding Toni, and they also started a GoFundMe that would help fund a private investigator. And they plan on having a huge search party for Toni as well, around the location that she was last seen. The investigators checked her bank statements to see if she actually got to the gas station that she supposedly got to, and there were actually 2 attempts on her card. They were both declined, and this was at 4:33 a.m. They were also able to get in touch with Toni's car insurance company, and there was a GPS device located in her car. So they were able to access the information on that as well. So they were able to see that she did make it to the gas station. And then the GPS seemed to malfunction or be tampered with. So they checked her cell phone records to see where her phone was last pinged off which tower. The place that it last pinged was at English Landing Park, which was about 10 miles away from the gas station she used her card at. And at this time, the dash cam footage was released to the public.
Being a white, correction, black Ford Focus. I think just one occupant, Kansas license 989 George Adam X-ray, 989 George Adam X-ray, 26 in Burlington. Morning.
How are you?
Fine. Where are you trying to go to?
I'm about to go downtown. I live down there.
You live downtown?
Yeah.
Where you come from?
Downtown. I live at, I was working at Chrome tonight. So.
Hey, Chrome?
Yeah.
You drinking?
No.
You're heading the wrong way on the street.
I know. I'm about to head that way.
Which way? This way?
Well, yeah, I know. I was about to head towards, Shady, but...
Shady.
Yes.
What's Shady?
Shady Lady.
Shady Lady?
Yeah.
You know where you're at now?
Yeah.
Where?
I'm at, I was about to head towards Shady, but, yeah.
Driver's license, insurance. Do you have your insurance card with you?
Yeah.
You're heading the wrong way.
Well, yeah, I know.
No.
Head that way.
This is a two-way street. You're on the full left side of the street, heading to oncoming traffic. Huh? It's not funny.
I'm sorry.
That's why I'm asking you if you've been drinking. Have you taken any medications or anything?
No, I'm just really sick. I don't feel good. So.
Okay. Stay right here for me, okay? phone number.
346. The 2014 Ford Focus to a Toni Anderson out of Wichita. Show February 17. Go ahead with your party.
King 03337646. King 03337646 Kings.
One 44 to 140. Alright. You got any help out there? Got it. Repeat. On that party Valley, Kansas.
10-4. What was the expiration date on the plate?
It's a February 17 expiration.
10-4.
Alright. 144. Ma'am, we'll take a non-injury accident on Ozark. Copy, I'll show you out. Thank you, 429.
Tony,
Yeah.
do me a favor. Pull in that parking lot, sit there for a while, gather yourself.
Okay.
So when it clears, I'm going to make sure the light turns, go there and park yourself, sit.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Because you're nowhere near and you're facing the wrong
I
direction.
know, you just made me really nervous. I'm
I
sorry.
understand. So pull over there and gather yourself, okay?
Thank you.
430.
Both units 10-8.
At 430.
Okay, so what we see right away is that he pulls her over and she is on the wrong side of the road. So he lets her know that she was driving into oncoming traffic, and did she know that she was on the complete wrong side of the road? And what caught my attention right away is that she seems very intoxicated or not sober. She does not sound sober right off the bat. And the police officer asks for her license, her registration, her insurance card, and proceeds to ask her if she was drinking. And she tells him that she was at work and she needs gas. She's just gonna go meet her friends at a different club. She kind of got turned around, lost her way, and she kind of giggles about it, and he lets her know that it's not funny, and she apologizes. So he gets the information from her, where she was coming from, where she's headed, and he proceeds to just tell her to pull into the gas station up the street a little bit and pull herself together. So he tells her to do that. He gets back into his own vehicle and he follows her, and he goes into a parking lot across the gas station and watches her. You can see her walk back into her car, and that is when the police officer leaves. This is about a total of 7 minutes that all of this takes place. And once Toni's family and a lot of people, the public, different police stations, even different officers, when they saw this footage and realized how obviously intoxicated Toni was, people were furious that the only thing that happened was she was told to go collect herself. And that was a total of about 7 minutes. So people were extremely angry about that. Her mother even stated that she was, quote, clearly hammered, and very upset that the police officer would just let her go after, she was driving on the wrong side of the road. She was driving into oncoming traffic, so she was clearly not level-headed. So after all of this, Toni's parents hired a private search team that specialized in using sonar so they could search the water that was near the park that Toni's cell phone last pinged from. It was shortly after searching that area that the divers picked up images of 2 vehicles in the water, one being completely unrelated to this case, and one was unfortunately Toni's vehicle. They notified authorities, and on March 10th, it was officially declared that Toni's car had been found in the water. It was submerged in an area right next to a boat ramp, and when they pulled the car from the water, they found Toni's body in the driver's seat. An autopsy was done, and it was determined that Toni's cause of death was accidental drowning and hypothermia. Alcohol, cocaine, and amphetamines were all found to be in her system at the time of her death. The police believe that Toni was most likely, for one, intoxicated, 2, shaken up from being pulled over by a police officer, and she kind of got turned around. So when she was trying to make her way to the Shady Lady, she made a wrong turn, realized that she made this wrong turn, and she was trying to turn around in this area. And in the dark, she didn't realize that she was actually turning around off of the boat ramp. So she drove directly into the water, and her car was still in drive. Her driver's side window was all the way down, and it was 30 degrees that morning. The shock that her body felt kept her from getting out of that vehicle. The autopsy showed a bruise on her knee that was determined to have been done prior to that incident. And she had a few cuts to her abdomen from broken glass from the impact of the car hitting the water. A lot of people still believe that this isn't so open and shut. There are still theories that the police just covered it up. But the most important people to Toni, her parents, do believe that this was an accident. Her mother said that she was thankful for the closure and that there was no foul play involved and that the family supports the findings 100%. So I would really like to know, what do you think? How do you feel about the police officer pulling her over because she was heading into oncoming traffic and then just letting her go and kind of sober up a little bit? Do you think he should have been held accountable in some way? Do you believe that it was an accident, or do you believe that there was foul play involved? Please let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments below. The most important is that her parents do believe that this was an accident, and it is a tragic accident. It did not have to happen. In many ways, it didn't have to happen. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so we can have more of these coffee dates. And until your next true crime coffee break, stay safe, and thank you so much for your time. Bye.